Giulia Bongiorno there, Raffaele Sollecito's lawyer, saying that his response to the decision of the appeal court was that he is very happy indeed. And she was also making the crucial point there that this case, this appeal case, turned on that forensic analysis of the DNA evidence and a lot of the other evidence that was put forward by the prosecution, and too many holes were simply found in some of that evidence to suggest that the convictions were safe. A little later on, we got the reaction of Amanda Knox's lawyer following the verdict. Again, some flash photography in this.
No, in this case, there's no winner. The justice has superseded and they have rectified a mistake. There is a terrible tragedy at the beginning because there's the death of Meredith. Meredith was a friend of Amanda, so we should never forget this, and we have to respect the sorrow of all the family. So there's no winner here. The justice has recognized that Amanda was not involved in the murder.
So this was a miscarriage of justice?
This is a mistake, according to our system. We have the possibility, our legislator has foreseen the possibility of mistakes. That's why we have the appeal, and we have a third grade, which is compulsory. So unless we have this 3 grades, you cannot consider somebody guilty with a final decision. And this is what has happened today. The Court of Appeal has rectified a mistake of the first judges.
What did Amanda say to you after that decision?
She didn't say anything, but she was so happy. She started to cry. She had a release. She was extremely worried at the beginning. She was scared. She was feeling that today was a very important day, and she was actually on the border of a request of life in jail and a dismissal. So it was a very tense day for her, and she didn't say much. She was just crying, very happy.
You have got quite close to Amanda over the last 4 years. You've had to work very closely with her. What do you make of how she has coped with this whole process?
Amanda is a very intelligent girl. She was very young and very unexperienced at the beginning. So she has matured, and together with my colleague Luciano Girga, we worked with her in order to defend her. So we were able to appreciate the extreme sensible and intense intelligence of Amanda, and we're very happy that we had Amanda as a client.
Was the independent forensics, just one last question, was the independent forensics review, was that the main thing you think in
order to reply to this, we have to wait for the motivation.
Okay.
When we see the motivation, I will be in a position to explain exactly what and how this evidence has been considered by the court.
Amanda Knox's lawyer there speaking to Luisa Baldini just after that appeals court decision came down. So Amanda Knox has been cleared alongside her co-accused Raffaele Sollecito. That just leaves one man, Rudy Guede, who has been convicted for the murder. He was convicted in a separate trial. Luisa Baldini has been following the case.
A picture was painted of Amanda Knox as having the face of an angel, but the persona of a she-devil. The reality is that Amanda was not capable of murder, but she was young, naive and misconstrued from the moment investigators set eyes on her. It's true, her much photographed face has eclipsed that of her murdered flatmate, the British student Meredith Kercher, who was 21 when she came to Perugia in 2007. Meredith, who once appeared in this pop video, had been in Italy for just 2 months when she was sexually assaulted and stabbed in her own bedroom. Investigators and prosecutors came up with a theory that Amanda and her then boyfriend Raffaele Sollecito forced Meredith into a sex game, along with a third man, Rudy Guede, whose DNA was all over the crime scene and who has since been convicted of the murder.
Much of what was alleged to have happened in the apartment that Amanda shared here with Meredith is based purely on supposition. None of Amanda's DNA was found in Meredith's bedroom, and an independent review of the analysis allowed at the appeal dismissed many of the original findings because of contamination and bad practice in how the evidence was collected.
They went into the house not looking for evidence, but they were looking for evidence that tied Amanda and Raffaele specifically. And anything that they found that clearly shows she wasn't involved, they just twisted it to make it sound like she was involved.
When Amanda and Raffaele were seen kissing within hours of Meredith's body being found, it was deemed inappropriate. Suddenly, they were the focus of attention and were arrested 4 days after the murder.
Arriving in the police office, I didn't expect to be interrogated at all.
Over a year after they were first imprisoned, Knox and Sollecito stood trial. They said they had never been at the apartment the night of the murder. They were at his place watching a video and smoking marijuana. Prosecutors claim Meredith's bra clasp found at the scene had Raffaele's DNA on it. But independent analysis in the appeal revealed it hadn't been bagged until 46 days after the murder and had been contaminated. The analysis also found there was too little DNA on the blade of a kitchen knife belonging to Raffaele, the supposed murder weapon, to be able to attribute it to Meredith Kercher, as the prosecution had claimed.
Meredith Kercher was killed by one man, Rudy Herman Gaudet. He was a known burglar. She surprised him in the house, and he took her life and sexually assaulted her.
Are you taking movies right now? No.
Finally exonerated, Amanda Knox will soon be able to return to normality, though after the ordeal of the last 4 years, it will be a different sort of normal. Luisa Baldini, BBC News, Perugia.
Well, after those dramatic events in Perugia, we've managed to get a couple of front pages of tomorrow's newspapers, and The Independent and The Eye leading on this story. Freed, Amanda Knox appeal upheld. Knox's conviction for murder of Meredith Kercher is overturned. She breaks down as the verdict is delivered. Raffaele Sollecito also cleared. Kercher family remain stoic in court. As I say, The Independent leading with exactly the same photograph there. Amanda Knox is released after winning appeal. And the Daily Telegraph as well. We've just got that in as well. Knox freed and her 4-year nightmare is over. Amanda Knox collapsed, sobbing in court last night as she was cleared of murdering the British student Meredith Kercher. A jury decided that the 24-year-old, who has spent almost 4 years in jail, was the victim of a miscarriage of justice following a chaotic Italian police investigation. And that's how this appeal really panned out. That independent analysis of the DNA evidence that was put forward by the prosecution case. The court ordered an analysis of that DNA evidence and found a lot of holes in it. For instance, 50 errors apparently under the original case. Masks and gloves not worn at the crime scene. DNA evidence not tested to international standards. And as a result, those convictions have now been quashed. Much more coming up on the 10 o'clock news.